What's happening, people? We are back with a bang. Another show, another channel. And let's just say that there's not too much going on in the world of football right now. And people are doing their own thing. I was thinking the Roms backstage talking about tennis. A lot of people talking about other sports at the moment, waiting for the Euros, waiting for transfers. But big up to all of you for being here, man. Big up for all of you for listening, all of you for watching live. Big up for everybody that coming over from Saeed's channel as well, where we had our unbelievable debates. Make sure you go check that one out as well. Big up to Roms in the house, bro. What are you telling me? You good?
Big up, I'm good, bro. Like you said, not really much going on. Just waiting for the Euros, man. Euros, Copa America. It should be a big summer, man. Just can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be, man. It's gonna be. Martin, back in the house, bro. Back on the show. How are you, mate?
Yeah, first of all, I apologise. I've not got my ugly mush on the camera. I'm having difficulties at the minute. But I am here.
It's cool. It's all good. We're going to have Dan. We're going to have Mo. We're going to have Pete joining us very, very soon. So don't go anywhere. There's a couple of things I want to start with. There's a couple of release clauses that I'm not too sure about. And maybe people are debating. One of them is Eze, which we're going to talk about. The other one, of course, is Olise. And there's rumours, Rons, of Alexis Mac Allister, bruv. £60 million release clause. Real Madrid sniffing around him. Have you heard about this? What's going on, bro?
See, I'm confused because some people are saying it's this summer, but I heard they can only trigger it from summer 2025. But I have heard about it, and I don't like that. I don't like that because I think, honestly, he's one of the best centre midfielders in the league. And I do believe we've not even seen him at his full potential because obviously when he started off a bit shaky, Mac Allister was having to do that workman-like role. He has to play DM for us, and you saw when and had an upturn in form, Mac Allister was able to express himself. So I think we're going to bring in a prominent DM, and you'll see the best of Mac Allister this season. And that's what worries me more, because if he has his best season, Real Madrid come in next summer, trigger his release clause, and then he's gone. But I didn't like hearing that. I'm not going to lie. We already know what South Americans' dreams are. The pinnacle is Barca or Madrid. Yeah. So that knock is a big knock, especially when you're South American. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not really buying into it too much. He's no way he'll go this summer. But yeah, I'm hearing the release clauses for next summer. I don't think they can activate it this year.
Mate, he's been one of your best players by far, Roms, hasn't he? Let's be real.
Yeah,
Mac Allister this season just gone, bro. Big up, Dan. I think he's been one of your best players, bro. I can't lie. And, I think when I look at what Liverpool did this season, I know it fell off, but I thought he was a massive part of that midfield. And it's sometimes unreal to think that Liverpool completely revamped their midfield. Do you know what I'm saying? With Endo coming in, Mac Allister coming in, Szoboszlai coming in. I actually think that Mac Allister's the one that not many people are talking about. And I think they should, for a steal of 33 million or something mad like that. I think that's absolutely crazy. And you better pray that £60 million is not true and he don't want to go, bruv, because that's a really good signing for someone potentially. And if it is Real Madrid, like you say.
Big up Jamie in the chat. Jamie said, because it's true, we don't normally do release clauses, but I'm seeing from a lot of Spanish outlets. But it makes sense because Spanish outlets, they're back in Madrid, they're probably going to create these rumors. But we don't normally do release clauses. But if it is true, I do get worried because whenever Madrid or Barca are in for a player, it will naturally worry you, especially the fact that we're not winning the big honours at the moment. We're going to go through. For me, I still expect us to challenge whatnot, but we're going to have that slight natural drop off because of our change in manager. But hopefully it's not true, man. But I agree with you. For me, he's top three. Some will have been player of the season. He probably was our player of the season. But yeah, especially even if he's not your first, he'll be your second or your third. He was definitely top three. And the fact that he actually did a competent job in DM at times, and we know that's not where he excels. He doesn't have the best endurance. He does tire out around the 65th, 70th minute, but that's due to him having to be industrious and cover for the DM position. That's why when Endo had an upturn in form, you saw the best of Mac Allister, and I think with a proper DM, you're going to see him go up another level. But yeah, let's hope that's not true, man.
Listen, before I come to the boys, Roms, your front three under Arne Slot. Which are the ones, if you're picking your best front three, which are the absolute musts in the positions and who needs to be signed in that front three for you still?
For me, I've said it, it's not popular with my fan base. You can't have too much change, but I only rate 2 of our 5 forwards. Let me just be completely honest with you. Only Salah and Jota. Diaz, yes, flicks and tricks, but there's no real output. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think he's getting to, I think he's turned 27. I think there's only so much time we can give him. I can't see him. The reason why I want to sell him, and a lot of fans say, oh, you never know, give him an extra season, he could change his fortunes, but I can't see him going to another level. That's why I'm happy to sell him. And we spent, I think, on Diaz, it was just under 40 mil. It might have been 37, 38 mil. If we can get 60 or 70 from Barcelona, they've come out many times during the season. And what I didn't like as well, I know what happened with his dad was unfortunate and whatnot, but the fact that you're entertaining other offers during our title running, I didn't like that. That shows me you're not motivated or your head's other places when you should be just concentrating on the title running. And again, like I said, with Mac Allister, he's South American, so he's naturally going to entertain that. But there's a time and a place. Wait till after the summer. But Gakpo, I'm not the biggest fan of. I know some of my fans will back him. Gakpo, again, I don't see him going that extra level at Liverpool. Nunes, look, this is a player I backed from the start. I've tried, but the misses are inexcusable. And again, can I see him getting better? Not in a Liverpool shirt. So for me, Salah on the right, Jota through the middle. But the problem is with Jota, he can't stay fit. That is the only thing. He actually cannot stay fit. And then it becomes a problem because we know your talent. And I've always said, if Jota stays fit, he'll get between, in my opinion, 20 to 25 league goals. He's more than capable of doing that. But he doesn't stay fit. And for me, on the left, I would go Diaz. Because as much as maybe his output isn't as what I'd like it to be, he still can be elusive. He still can beat his man at times. And I think that is our strongest front three. Some would say Nunes because of his GA last season, which it was quite decent. But that's my front three, to be fair. But I don't... Big up, Mo. Everything's working again.
Love, Mo. Love. Big up to yourself, man. Listen,
Yeah.
let me come to you, Dan, because obviously as a Chelsea fan, it's interesting to get your thoughts on this one in relation to Liverpool. Where are you at with Liverpool and Arne Slot is my first question. And my second question is, what positions do you think they need to strengthen to actually go in for another title race? Because some people are saying that, this will be a top 4 season now. I disagree. I think Chelsea need to be going for Liverpool need to be going for a title race. So where are you at with this one, Dan?
I think Arne Slot, when it was announced, I sort of questioned it a little bit and thought, is that the right type of manager that should be going to Liverpool? But I think as we've seen, like the managerial sort of market develop in recent weeks, Arne Slot actually looks like better business than most have been able to achieve, or most have even tried to risk, I think. So I don't mind it that much, to be honest. I think Liverpool are being quite smart here. I don't think it's a drastic change for their squad. It's not a manager that's going to completely change things to how the last manager sort of had things running. I feel like it's quite balanced, and it's like, let's give him a chance. Let's see if he can carry us on for a few seasons, keep us challenging. And then if we trust him with the full rebuild of new, really expensive players, he'll have a year, 2 years under his belt to then do that with a squad as well. So I'm intrigued. Liverpool Liverpool got their rebuild right in the summer in terms of midfield. I expect him to get this managerial appointment right. I expect him to keep challenging. The only issue that potentially Liverpool have going into next season, depending on recruitment, is whether or not they progress on where they're from last season. I know you expect them to potentially go and challenge for a title, Dan, but the issue is that how much more without Klopp can they close that gap towards City, and do Arsenal then pull away if they make good signings as well? What do I think Liverpool need? Well, defensively, I think they're okay. I think they'd probably take another centre-back realistically if they lose someone. I think there's links that Konate might go. So if Konate goes and they got to replace him, I think he's a very good centre-back, by the way. Injuries are his biggest problem. If you could go a full season with Konate, Van Dijk, that's an unbelievable centre-back pairing. Right back, I think, is okay. I think Trent's more than capable. Left back, I think they're starting to get concerned about Robertson and who can cover for him. So if they could get into the market early and sign a left back that can start to compete with Robertson now, I think that's a good move. Midfield, the rebuild went okay last season, but I think Endo is probably a player that you'd want someone in the same sort of mould, but probably 5, 6, 7 years younger. So maybe a holding midfielder. And I feel like Roms was saying as well, they've all backed Nunes. And I had this with Timo Werner, Kai Havertz. You give it as much patience as you've got.
You can,
but when it starts running out, man, like it's very, very difficult to do another season of the same thing. So look, if you back Darwin and next season he scores you 25 Prem goals, I think you'll take it. But the issue is that I think realistically Liverpool need to be getting someone into, one, potentially prepare for the eventual departure of Salah, and two, I think they haven't replaced when Mane left in terms of goals. I think Núñez was obviously that player to replace the Nane level of goals. They've got to go again. They've got to add someone to the team that, look, do you know what, right? And hear me out on this. If a stopgap was someone like Jared Bowen, I think for a season, if it was 15, 16 goals that he could put up in a Liverpool shirt, it could bide you by for a season or two.
Dan.
I just don't think it's the level.
I want to pick on what Dan. Sorry, Roms. I want to pick
Go
on what Dan said. Do we actually think that Liverpool did the rebuild correct? And let me present the facts here. Darwin Núñez is not a successful signing. Luis Diaz came in fighting for 6 months and he got injured. Unfortunate. Jota is always injured. Last season, they ended the season not using Gravenberch and Szoboszlai well. Endo has already only had a good half a season. That rebuild notion.
Mo, you are lagging.
Is that me or is that Mo?
It's Mo.
Yeah.
Mo, your mic.
Oh, it is Mo. Okay, your mic is so bad, Mo.
Okay, now I think it's corrected now. Is that better?
No, it's
No,
really
it's still
really
crackling.
crackling like really badly, man. Is that just me or is that?
No, I can hear it as well. I can hear it as well.
It's choppy. It's
Try
like there's a loose wire.
Unplugging it again, Mo. Try it again, Mo. You're on mute, mate.
How about now?
No,
Talk again. Keep talking.
Go. I need to leave and come back.
Yeah, leave and come back out. Sorry, bro. It's really
Well,
bad.
on his
It's really
point
bad.
of whether or not the rebuild's been done correctly, right? Because we know what he's saying there with what he said is there's been a lot of players. I think the most important thing to sort of understand there is that I don't think all of them players were brought in as part of a rebuild. I think some were brought in as squad players that were there to back up what was there. Like Jota was brought in as a player to back up the front three of Firmino, Salah, and Mane at the time.
Yeah.
I think the real rebuild was the midfield this season. I think that's the first sign we've seen of Liverpool sort of removing what was there under Klopp and really going again. Mo, I don't know if you heard that, but we were just saying.
Yeah, I did. Can
That's
you
better.
hear me?
That's much better.
Okay,
Yeah.
just the mic had something crazy for me joining this stream. Basically, we're assuming that the rebuild signing players doesn't mean the rebuild went well. And I'm yet to see that Liverpool's midfield, apart from Mac Allister, I am yet to actually put the statement out and say that Liverpool's midfield. Bro, Endo is 30 years old.
And Endo was
still part of it.
But
that's the
Endo's
thing,
not the
Dan. He was
rebuild.
inconsistent.
Gravenberch,
Yeah.
Szoboszlai, had these guys. At the end, Liverpool fans sat there and said, we don't mind seeing Mac Allister, Harvey Elliott, and Curtis Jones. Where is the rebuild then?
It's true.
Where is the rebuild then? Where is the rebuild? I have sat on streams with Liverpool fans screaming, start Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. Okay, that's not the rebuild then. There's no rebuild. These are youngsters for them. Salah, there is no one that covers for him. Darwin Núñez, that's the rebuild. Didn't work for them a lot of money. Diaz, they want to sell him, right? Jota, always injured. Konate, injured. Matip started the season, guys. Matip, right? He's gone in a free. That's not a rebuild, right? Tsimikas, a lot of Liverpool fans were saying Tsimikas is the guy that will play. And then towards the end of the season, like, sell this guy.
He's not good
Get
enough.
rid of him. Get rid of this guy. That notion that Liverpool, because they bought a lot of players and they got rid of some of the old guard, like the Manes and the Firminos and the Hendersons and the Wijnaldums and all the stuff, that rebuild haven't, because they challenged this season, because they had a brilliant manager in the club, the rebuild itself still hasn't worked. It hasn't worked yet. On paper, it hasn't. They bought a lot of players. And I'm not putting Liverpool down as people claim. I'm just stating the fact. And the facts are Liverpool fans sitting on streams screaming to not play the signings. Play the signings.
What I'm saying is I think Liverpool need to be in a title race this season, but I think they need signings. I'm not saying they should be in a title race with what they've got now. Let me just throw 4 names at you, Roms. I'm not saying you're going to get these players. I'm not saying you've got the money to get these players. You don't have to look too far. Anthony Robertson, left back. Paulinho, Ivan Toney up top, and say Diamande as a centre back. Those 4 signings, let's say, whether you agree that they'd be top notch for Liverpool or not, I think they're the sort of players that can come in and you go, right, we could actually go for this here because we've got covering every position there. And maybe not Salah, I agree with what Mo's saying. I think you might need more than a number 9. But, you know, depending if you sell Diaz, you're going to obviously replace him. But I just think Liverpool, they need to be going for try and go for a title, not scrape for top 4.
I know you're just throwing 4 names at me. Just to pick up one thing Dan said. The thing with Jared Bowen, West Ham are going to ask for extortionate amount of money, which we don't spend unless we actually have to. Because I don't like this notion that we don't spend money, because I was about to go to sleep at 2 a.m. and then we put in 150 million bid for Caicedo. So we do spend money if we have to. Van Dijk,
89 million for Darwin Nunez, bro.
Exactly. 75 million for Van Dijk, 60 plus for Alex. If we have to, we will. Exactly. 70 for support. If we have to, we will, right? But Diamande, we've been linked with for the past 2 windows now, but I don't really see that progressing. Ivan Toney, I said I'll take, because Mo will tell you I've backed Nunez for the longest, but he's just not good enough. You have to hold your hands on any Liverpool fan that still wants to give him more time. This is his 3rd season now. For me, he's just not good enough. You have to call a spade, right? Who else did you mention? I think you said Bowen or Stortus, and Paulino. I said from last summer, I'd love Paulino, but he's not in our remit. We don't, and the thing is, it's not FIFA where you hit 30 and you're all of a sudden old, but we don't go for players like Paulino. For me, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying we would have won the league, but if we had signed a Paulino last summer, I think we take it to the wire, or maybe the penultimate day with our Arsenal and City, because I think he could be a game changer. He's literally a destroyer, because we're even looking at Edison, and I know Fabrizio come out and said we've contacted his representative, but then James Pearce said there's been nothing, but he's not the most credible anymore. But I think Edison is a player where he's a destroyer, but he's technically astute. I've only watched him in 3 games, by the way, the 2 games against us in the final, but he can do a bit of everything. He's like a jack of all trades and master of some of them. Does that make sense? Like, he can do quite a bit. But I think in our midfield, we only really need a destroyer. Some of our fans want a DM that can play and break lines. We don't really need that, because Sabozda as a player, I will give another year. Yes, he was poor. He had a first good 10 games, then he was poor the rest of the season. But I'm still willing to give him 1 more year. We know how sometimes in the first year how it can be with players. Mac Allister, I think once we get DM, you'll see him flourish. You'll generally see him flourish. And like you said, Mo, I want to see Elliott in the midfield, Curtis Jones as well. Because Curtis Jones, before he got injured at Brentford, was very good. After the Brentford injury, afterwards, he was a bit hit and miss. He came into certain games, was losing the ball, starting off counters for other teams. But I just think our midfield, when you do break it down, Gravenberch re-signed for the future, has, again, hit and miss. Played well some games, been underwhelming in other games. So Bozza has been poor. Like Mo said, I think Mac Allister's the only signing in this midfield rebuild you can say has been a success. Because like I said earlier in the stream, there's games where he had to play DM. Some games he was poor, but some games he was actually competent. But I agree with you, Dan. We do need to have, in my opinion, 3-4 signings in most departments to take us to the forward down. But if you want me to be honest, I can't see us signing another forward unless we let another forward go in. And if I think we're going to keep Nunez, Gakpo, Salah and Jota, I think it'll be 1 out, 1 in. That's how we normally worked with Edwards in the past. And I think that's how we'll remain working. I think Diaz will leave. I do think he'll go to Barcelona. And then I think we'll probably get a left winger. But a left winger is not really what we need, because Jota sometimes can play there. Nunez got his most assists in that position, so he can do something there. For me, we need a right winger to compete with Salah, because if God forbid, and he doesn't really get injured, but cool, this season you saw it. Salah got injured, and it was Jota that had to step up in January, February time. So I think we need a right winger to compete with Salah. But again, he's going to have to be, he's going to have to be in between 22 and 26. And he's going to have to be about 50 million max, because that's within our remit. I don't think we'll break the bank for another forward, essentially.
You won't be able to get a top right winger. No top right winger in the world will come to Liverpool.
But why not Jared Bowen in terms of
he's
going to be more than 50 mil?
But I can tell you why Jared Bowen will never go to Liverpool.
Right.
He would never go to Liverpool. No one in the right frame of mind, a big name or a good name, will go and be an understudy for Salah. For one reason. Salah doesn't sit on the bench. Salah plays 90 minutes.
Mo, you've done yourself now. Because you were on here last week telling me why aren't Arsenal going for Elise? Elise is not going to get in the team ahead of Saka.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
But surely
that's the question.
One more season.
I asked the question then to you, because I asked you the question then. Are Arsenal in a place to go sign 2 top players? Can you convince 2 top players to rotate? Can you convince
No.
Riyad Mahrez
No.
and Bernardo Silva to
No.
be in a team? Do you have that Pep Paul will say, Mahrez, you're in my team, Bernardo, you're in my
Mo,
team, and you guys are
Let
playing?
Martin come in. Go on, Martin. Go
Pep,
on, Martin.
Pep can't do that. Pep can't do that. This is the thing I've been trying to explain to fellow City fans. This thing of having two world-class players or top players per position is dead.
Okay.
Because nobody wants to sit on a bench. Why do you think Julian Alvarez is considering leaving Manchester City Football Club? Because he wants to play number 9. And the trouble is, he's got a Norwegian meat machine in front of him who's going, nah, you're not having my place. This is you can do it for a year. You can do it for 2 years. Gabriel Jesus left City because he wasn't getting the game time he wanted. Zinchenko left City because he wasn't getting the game time. Mahrez left because he wasn't playing in the games he wanted to play. Everyone wants to play. You know, it's all right saying to a player, well, you're going to play, and this is no disrespect, Luton Town this week, Ipswich Town this week. But when it then comes to United, Liverpool, Arsenal, oh, you're on the bench. That player immediately knows they're back up.
So
And then it becomes a problem.
So we think gone the days with Higuain, Benzema, Di Maria, Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo on the same team. That
But
only
when was
Real
that,
Madrid.
Mo? That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But that's the thing.
Football's
when people
changed.
say Liverpool should go and sign Bowen, what Bowen is going to ask is, am I playing right wing? Is Mohamed
People are
Salah
talking
here?
about Bowen. People are talking about Bowen like he's 50 million quid. He's got a 6-year deal.
Thank
He's
you.
just signed it. He ain't going
Yeah.
anywhere for under probably 80, 90 million.
Dan, do you know what I can see? Do you know what I can see us doing, Martin? Right, Bowen turns 28 this winter. Right, Salah is guaranteed his last year because there's still talk. I don't think Saudi will stop. Saudi will still try and pull his arm even this summer, but he's come out and said he wants to give it 1 more year. Next year, Salah's definitely leaving. Right, I can actually see us saying, you know what, he's entering his prime. Give him a 5-year deal. He's in his peak years. Then we might actually pay that sum. But you're spot on, Martin. He just signed a new deal, and we're not going to pay more than 50, 60 for a right winger to be an understudy.
So no one gets him. Newcastle won't get him. And this is the problem at the moment with this window. And I'm sorry, everyone's going to be very bored of this. We all wanted this FFP. We all wanted the fairness around the league. You've now got this anchor, which, sorry, I hate the term, or whatever it is, SBA, SBC, ABC. I've got that many acronyms now, you've got to remember. Is the anchor does exactly what it says on the tin. It weighs everyone down. This is why, at the moment, nobody's moving anywhere. Everyone is waiting. They're playing cat and mouse. And what you'll get on the 30th of June is a mini transfer window. Because you've got 6 clubs who've got to sell by the 1st of July, or the all fail FFP. Or PSR, or again, ABC,
five now, Martin, with Chelsea selling
Well,
hotel. 5.
Right,
That's
5. But that's 20% of the league. That's 20% of the league. And then everyone. The trouble is, until that money gets swirling around this league, you ain't getting nobody moving. This is why City are doing the Alvarez deal potentially, so then they can replace with somebody else, and then that money gets swirling around.
Martin, also, the reason why moves aren't happening now, let's be honest, clubs are waiting to see how players come back from Copa America, Euros, if they come back fit and healthy. I think that plays a part in as well. Because imagine you signing a player for a big fee now, goes to the Euros, Copa America, gets a big injury, you can't use him till January. You'll be fucked, essentially. Like you'll be. So I think you're spot on, but I think there's more reason why clubs aren't signing players too. I think they're just gonna wait till the major competition.
Wage cap is a big deal now. Wage cap is a big deal because of the revenue of the smallest club. Is it 5 times? Is it coming next year? People can't give players long-term contracts with this wage cap coming in. I'm in favor of the wage cap, by the way. But this is what Martin actually is the one that me and him spoke about this, that the wage cap is making clubs hesitant about giving someone a contract without knowing, okay, what's the limit here? What is the limit going to be? Do I have to sell a player next season? Will I be forced to sell a couple of players from the high earners next season because I signed a lot of players? Because of the unknown element of the revenue of the smallest club in the league, or the lowest revenue. That is something that is going to hinder someone, even like Man City, or signing a Galacticos, for example, because who knows what salary cap they're going to be in, and they have to comply with that. Other clubs as well, especially for the clubs like Liverpool, because Liverpool wage bill is the second or the third in the league behind Man United and Man City, and it's still a big margin between you and Chelsea and Arsenal. So Arsenal and Chelsea might be in the okay. Liverpool aren't. This is Liverpool. It's very tricky what is going to happen this summer because of the pool of talent that doesn't exist. It's not like before, and also because of the wage cap. Because of the wage
well, it's
cap.
a profit and loss, isn't it? It's a profit and loss on your sales. And this is what it's very clever in the wording. And listen, by the way, I ain't moaning at the rules. They are the rules. They are what they are before everyone comes in and triggered because a City fan's talking about rules. I know that triggers a lot of people. But it's just the way we all are at the moment. And you're going to get, I don't think any club's going to bring in 4 and 5 players unless you're going to get 2 or 3 out the door, because you're going to need to sell, and then your profit goes. It's very weird and complicated. But at the moment, until that first domino drops, we're all going to be playing cat and mouse. This is like I said with Alvarez. If Chelsea buy Alvarez at 80, 90 million, right, then we know what we can play with then. It's a very weird situation. But on the Liverpool thing, I do agree with Mo. You can't call it a rebuild because they sold 3 or 4 midfielders or let them go like Henderson, etc. That's not a rebuild. That's what Arsenal did. Arsenal brought in 3 or 4 quality players, but they let 3 or 4 out the door. So you're not building your squad up. You're just right back to where you were at 0 point again.
We basically
you just 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out.
And that's the thing, Martin. We basically had an exodus of the old guard and just brought in the new guard. So I agree with you. I agree. We basically just made our midfield more rejuvenated with youth, more youth. That's basically what we did.
Too many players. Suppose like Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, by Justice, You have 7 midfielders. 7.
More. We're probably going to sell them, but we've got more. We've got Tyler Morton coming back. We've got Fabio Carvalho coming back. We've actually got more midfielders coming back than you think, but we'll sell a few as well. But it's annoying that Pete's here now after leave. But big up, Pete. Hope you're well. Big up, Dan. Big up, Martin.
Big up,
See you next week.
How's that hand on?
See you next week, Roms. In a bit, bro. Love. Listen, people, before we move to the next topic, Aaron's correct, man. We are 39 away from 20K. I need you to hit the like on the subscribe button. Come on, let's hit 20K on this stream. That'd be amazing. Says Dan's almost at 20K. Chat and rewatch. Make it happen. Big up to you, Aaron. Big up to all of you as well. Please make sure that you do that and smash the like. And then hopefully we can hit above 20K. While I'm there, please make sure you do me a favor and support our sponsors. Our sponsors, of course, are Football Prizes. Football Prizes are back, and there's some great ones to watch. So please make sure that you go over to footballprizes.co.uk and you can look at the following. If you are a Gooner, then you will be able to look at the Thierry Henry signed shirt. It has got an LED and a TV reel within it. You can get a Gilberto Silva shirt and a Jack Wilshere shirt and a retro shirt as well, for the cost of just £3.95. If you are a Formula One fan, 2 Silverstone Grand Prix tickets and some merch to win, as well as a Nigel Mansell signed merchandise, also for £2.95. People, you've got to get in for this. There's also, if you are getting into the Euros and England mega bundle, of course, you've got the Gaza shirt there. You've also got old and new shirts, home and away, and some other mega bundles for £1.95. Make sure you go check it out, people. Footballprizes.co.uk. You've got to be in it to win it, so make sure that you are so. Listen, let's talk about the release clause of Eze. There's a lot of reports at Crystal Palace that Eze and Olise have release clauses. They're talking about it being potentially £60 million, I believe, that people are talking about. Dan, big up to yourself, my bro. So let's talk about it, man. Martin, I see you in the chat saying that Man City are sniffing around this deal. Eze and Olise, what are you hearing, bro?
As Olise, not for us. Eze's been on our list for a little while. But again, that's if Alvarez does go. I don't see Eze coming in without Alvarez going out, potentially. Because we are still trying to do the Bruno deal at the same time. But I know we're waiting off on Bruno because we're waiting towards the 30th of June to see what Newcastle do. in terms of can they. The trouble is, nobody knows how much any club needs to make to pass all these FFP rules, whatever else. So,
Martin,
potentially, you could end up
the-
getting Bruno cheaper than the 100. I don't know.
I was going to say because the Bruno release clause doesn't go to the 30th. It's a
No, it
4
goes to the 28th.
No, it's a 4-week period, so it's the last week of June that it ends. So you've got 2 weeks from. I think it's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But they're going to. I think with Bruno, you'll wait. Period. Yeah, you'll wait. I think with Bruno, anyone will wait till right up until that end.
Quite possibly. But from all of the journalists Newcastle related, they're all pretty confident that if it goes beyond the date of the release clause, then Newcastle won't entertain the deal.
Oh yeah. It's got to be done before then. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. The Bruno one interests me a lot because it's been so quiet the last few weeks. I can't help but think that he might end up staying, you know. I know, Martin, you said City want him. Arsenal was saying they want him, but we can't do the release clause because of the PSR. So Arsenal aren't going to get him, I don't think, because Newcastle...
I know he wants Pep. He does want to play for Pep. That does interest him a lot. Him and Pep have a very close relationship, I believe. And I know Arsenal and City both spoke to his agent a few weeks back, apparently, reportedly. I always say reportedly to cover myself. They both had a meeting with his agent. So, he did come out with that quote where he said, I'm happy, which he is, 1,000% happy, but he also said, I don't know what the future will bring. That's telling me he's keeping his cards close to his chest.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's ever been about unhappiness at Newcastle. I think Bruno is a top talent that wants to play at Champions League football. And if you've got a chance to go and win trophies at City, you're going to do it. I don't think he's ever come out and said, I want to leave Newcastle. I don't like their direction. I don't like the project. I don't think it's any of that. I think it's just that Man City and Arsenal, to be fair, he knows he could go there and potentially be in a title race instead of trying to get Champions League football. And I think that at 26 years old, he's looking at his career. Now, he's guaranteed trophies at Man City. He's guaranteed to be in a title race, in my opinion, anyway. At Arsenal, you're going to go for the trophies. You're going to go love Pep. But I wonder why Man City haven't done it. But I don't know enough, Martin. Let's be real. The transfer window isn't even open yet. Do you know what I mean? So, people are talking about this, but they expect everyone to be signing straight away. But in terms of Eze, what are you hearing there? Because that, for me, £60 million, I think is a absolute steal if that's true. Like, I really do. And Olise as well. I mean, I know, Dan, you're linked with Chelsea linked with Olise as well. I think that listen, I'm not even gonna lie when I say this. I would quite happily pay 120 million for both. I know it sounds mad, but they are absolute ballers. They've taken Palace like forwards in the last couple of years. They can play pretty much across the front three, as they certainly can, and as an 8. Olise as well on the right hand side looks like an absolute baller. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like they could both leave Palace if these release clauses are to be true. I don't know what your thoughts are, Dan.
Yeah, I think they could, definitely. That they've both obviously finished the season absolutely on fire. They've both shown the question over both of them is their injuries. Realistically, I think they both struggle with injuries, but 60 million in this market for the ability that you're getting from both players is very good in terms of pricing. I don't want to see Eze go City. I know Martin's going to be livid with that, but for the best of the Premier League and for the best for the fans of football, pure footballers like Eze, you don't want him going under Pep. You just don't want to see him go to a Pep side. He'll kill him. I promise you. Like, he is not going to be the same player if he goes to a Pep Guardiola side. And I'm sure Martin will have a reason to tell me that he won't. He'll be great and he'll be fantastic. Like, I just see Eze being sort of fitting into a system and removing some of the things to his game that have made him the player that he is. And I'd rather see him move to a different team that allows him to kind of play the same way.
Fair enough, man.
I love Eze. By the way, I think Arsenal should be all over Eze.
I would love him. I would love him, man.
He's a great player.
I'm going to say that again. I think if this kid, he's not a kid, he's 25 years old, goes to be coached under Pep Guardiola, physically very strong, drives the ball very well, amazing ball control, can pass the ball. Imagine Pep taking him to the next level. The one that can benefit from him, if you play Declan Rice as a 6 and you play Eze and the 8 on the left, I think Mikel Arteta also can take the guy to the next level. And I don't know why Arsenal aren't sniffing around this guy. Oh, he's too expensive. He's too expensive. Why is he too expensive? It's freaking 16 million pounds. This is not expensive in this market. If Caicedo and Enzo and Declan Rice cost 100 million, I think that's a bargain for a player that is at his prime now.
Especially who's considered homegrown as well, by the way, Mo.
It's Crystal Palace. Okay, are you going to buy like players from Real Madrid, Arsenal? We're being told no. I think Arsenal should be all over this.
So what's the reason then? No, because it's only 60 mil, which I agree with that.
I don't know, Martin.
In this market,
Martin.
that's quality.
I don't know.
But
why.
that's what I mean. Nobody's moving right now. To me, it just comes down to these.
Oh, you there, Martin?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened there. Everyone's just holding the keeping. Everyone's playing poker at the minute.
Yeah, they are.
Nobody's moving anywhere.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, for me, Eze, I mean, he can play across the front three. He can play in the 8. He can play in the 10. I think he's a very versatile player. And it's one that I look at and always have kind of looked at thinking, do I want Olise? Do I want Eze? Olise is definitely a right winger. Eze kind of is a little bit of everything. And I think in terms of the skill, there's no question that they're both absolutely talented boys. But for 60 million, Tottenham are sniffing around him. I think that would be an incredible signing for them. And I hope that don't happen, by the way. But I'm surprised that more people aren't interested in Eze, man. I don't know what your thoughts are.
If he has an unreal Euros, Dan, he'll go like that.
I was going to come for that because I'm so glad that he's picked him as well, by the way. I'm so glad that he stays in. And I don't know if Martin will agree, but I actually would prefer to see Eze get in the for the likes of Grealish, who I don't think has had an amazing season, right? But I think for me, I don't know what your thoughts are, Dan. United. I know Manchester United are sniffing around some players. Eze, would you want him? Would you want Eze, bruv?
Well, I mean, he's a talent, isn't he? Of course, he's going to improve us, but I don't see where he plays in the same sort of role that Bruno does, doesn't he? And Bruno wouldn't be dropped for him, would he? Let's be honest, it'd be a waste. The one I want Olise so bad. I want Olise so bad. The things that lad can do with the ball. But there's another lad that we're not mentioning here, and that's Wharton. I think he's had a fantastic season since joining from Blackburn, and I think getting into the Euro, and I go, this kid's going to be quality. By the way, this kid, we've not even scratched the surface. He can play in between the lines. He's box to box. I was so happy he got his debut the other night. I think he's not going to tear up trees at the Euros. I don't think he'll get as many minutes, but I think he's a player that if I was United, I'd be sniffing around, certainly. I really was. Elise, I get exactly what Dan's saying with injury problems. How many games he played this season? Is it something like 18, 19 games? He's not had great luck with injuries with his hamstrings.
Like 16 GA or something like that.
Mate, his GA is incredible for the amount of games.
I would be sniffing around this guy all day long. And I think his release clause is, 50? Is it 50, 60 million?
We're not sure. Like, if I'm honest, I don't really know. And I'd never really understand release clauses because people will talk
Eze?
about it.
You're talking about Eze?
Well, both of them.
Well, I'd heard that. So we've been heavily linked with Olise the back end of the season into this summer, and from what I was hearing from our journalist, although it was reported at being 60 million for Olise, they'd heard that actually it was less than that. It was more around the 45 for Olise. That's what they were saying. Like Eze is more 60.
Eze 60 million apparently with an 8 million in add-ons. That is just what I've looked at as well. Yeah.
I want Olise. I think, as Dan alluded to, his output is just incredible. And let's not forget, I know obviously Crystal Palace had an absolute stormer at the end of the season, but Olise's been doing this, for a while. It's not like he's had a purple patch at the end of the season. I think he's ready to take that next step. I know he turned down Chelsea last season. Wasn't he at Chelsea as a youth player? If I remember rightly.
Yes. Yeah. And then he joined Man City.
At least it was. Eze was at Arsenal. We let him go at 12 years old.
Millwall, QPR. Yeah, Eze's had a few clubs.
Is it better for Olise to join Chelsea, Man United, or Newcastle?
Chelsea.
At least
you're going to say that.
I thought he's going to say
Chelsea buying Olise. Alvarez. Where are you putting all these players?
What? In the hotel, mate.
Where are you putting them all?
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Chelsea have just slapped 150 million down on 2 players, and they're putting them in the hotel as
I'll tell
concierges.
I'll tell you the answer to that question, Mo. Newcastle. That's the correct answer.
Is that
I
because
would
Pete
love
is
it.
here? Is that because Pete is here?
Elise, no, it's not because Pete's here. I'll tell you why. Because Elise is guaranteed first team football at Newcastle.
Like Pete
Every-
leaves the team and he's like,
Pete, I
"Hundred
get this all the
guys."
time with Pete. Pete knows I get this. Oh, Potts is not a
Stay with me.
Newcastle
Stay
fan.
with me, Pot.
He's
Stay
a
with me.
Newcastle fan. I respect Newcastle and I like what Newcastle were doing, right? I do. And I think that last season the injuries killed them. So I've got put in the mud a bit. But I like what Eddie Howe's doing at Newcastle, right? I think Elise would be a fantastic signing for Newcastle. And I think it would be a good move for him. I think the future is still bright. I know Bruno and Isak, people talking about him leaving. Bruno might go, but we don't know that. Isak's definitely staying. I think that it would be a good move for Newcastle and Elise. He'd guarantee first team football. He's on the right hand side. They've got Barnes and Gordon on the left hand side. I think it'd be a fantastic signing for Newcastle. Personally,
The one thing I'll add to that is that where the majority of our money will go in this transfer window is on that right wing. We will spend significant money. However much we spend, the majority of our spend will be on that right wing position. And I'm not saying that's Elise coming in. I'm just saying whoever we sign, whoever that might be on that right hand side, we will spend the bulk of our money in the window on that position because Miggy.
I heard you need a centre back though, don't you? Don't you need a centre back as well?
But they need a backup
We do.
centre back. They don't have to splash. They need a backup centre back.
Like Botman's not going to be available till early 2025. Obviously, he's with his ACL.
Wow.
So we obviously need to sign a backup. Like we've pretty much sewn up, fingers crossed. Lloyd Kelly, which it looks like it's done. Lloyd Kelly is a talented boy.
Who's that?
I prefer him to come in on the left. He can play left centre back.
Don't do that. I know what you did there.
I prefer him to be a left back personally. So for me, I still think we need a quality centre back to come in, and a right winger. Like they're that kind of like the two main positions. I think Eddie Howe wants a goalkeeper as well.
Don't you need a fullback? You have Trippier, Livramento.
I think
Lewis
Trippier's
Hall.
going. I think Trippier goes this summer.
So you need a right back.
reckon?
Livramento's gonna start and Lewis Hall on the left.
I know we've got Kraft as backup. He just played for Sweden with Isak the other day. He's back now, so he'll probably be back up to Livramento. I think we'll sacrifice Trippier. He's got a year left on his contract, and we probably should have sold him in January anyway. To be fair, recoup some money back from him and help it to reinvest in other positions. We've got to be smart with it. Like Trippier's going to be 34 soon. Like we need to transition players like that out. We're finally doing that with like the likes of Richie and Dummett that are just wasting a space on the bench. We're now looking to boost the squad.
And is Lewis Hall good for starting every game though as a left back?
Well, he's still got things to work on, but like as an attacking left back, he's since he's come back in, he's been brilliant. Like he really has. Like defensively, he's got some issues to work on, but that's where Lloyd Kelly, if he comes in, that's why I want him to play left back and have that competition because defensively he's very good. He's good attacking.
Mo is a troll, man. Look at it.
I'm not trolling. I swear to God, I'm not
Pete,
trolling, bro.
Pete, don't forget though, and I'm not wishing it. Just say Bruno does move. That would potentially change your whole transfer window if Bruno moves because you would have a lot more money on your PSR to go and spend that.
We move things completely, so we'll go out there and spend
50 million on Conor Gallagher.
Nah. Well, to be fair,
Dan, stop trying to sell your players.
Eddie Howe loves him.
Absolutely. No, I don't want to sell him. I just think that's realistic, though, isn't it? If Bruno
what is
goes,
going to happen to
not?
Tonali, Pete? What's going to happen to that?
He's back. He's back. I think second game of the season. He's back.
Oh, all right. Okay.
His band's done.
What's
so,
the
like,
score prediction for that game? Do you know?
He knows. Tonali knows.
Only Tonali.
Stop.
At least he's not getting himself booked. That's
Tonali had a word with Tony.
He's got a fiver on a Newcastle 1-0 win.
yeah. Tony Paqueta and Tonali all had a bit of a chat and said, "What we doing the next season?" Listen, I think Newcastle will have a good. They'll have a good summer for me. But go on, Dan.
Hey, I was just going to ask you a question, mate. Just a quick question. Do you think that Elise is going to want to take a step backwards in not playing European football next season?
No, I said it a minute ago. He's not going to come. I said when you were talking about it, he's not going to come to Newcastle. He's not going to come for that reason. And that's why the Elise links the last couple of weeks have gone cold. And to be fair, he did actually come out and say that he only wants to come to. He's only interested at this moment in time in Chelsea and I think Man City. I think they were the only two teams.
What, Elise said that, has he? Like,
that was like over a week ago. I remember reading that in an article. Like the only teams he's looking at the moment is Chelsea and Man City. That was like over a week ago.
So what you mean is, well, I don't know.
Dan went with like where big Man United won the FA Cup when we're playing European football. sit on the floor, Pete. That's what he went for, you know.
Do you know what? Elise has been promised a free poncho if he signs on.
Pete just took it, Pig's like it, whatever.
Honestly, I like. Obviously, I was gutted at the time when Man U deserved to win. Gutted that we lost that in Europe, but for me, like it's gone. Like I'm just focused on next season now and building this squad. Like I'm not. You guys can throw jokes at me all you want. I really don't care. Like it's.
Well, listen. You talk about Elise. You talk about Elise picking. Like who's agreeing with Don here? Because Don is loving his players, man. I've got to say, Don loves this Chelsea team. So I don't know anybody who loves the Chelsea team more than Don. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that people keep saying we don't need him because they know it's scary having him in a team with Palmer and Nkunku, Lavia, Enzo, and Caicedo.
But you missed Don. You missed the best player in the league in dribbling in this chat. Madueke. I think you need to chat.
This is what I'm saying. If they get Alvarez as well, where they fit in all these?
Who cares? Stop balling, who cares?
Not unless they're getting rid of the likes of Sterling and Madueke. Like or Mudryk is moving on. Like they're gonna have to move. You can't have like 5-6 wingers to choose it from 2 positions. Like it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Not unless there's some significant moves.
He hasn't seen Lavia and Nkunku play really. Lavia's been fucking injured all season, and Nkunku's played 6 games. So don't talk about those sort of players. We haven't seen them do anything.
It's fair, man. It's fair. Dan, would you agree?
Yeah, completely. I'll be honest. I appreciate a lot of what Don has to say about Chelsea. He's very, very positive, but I don't understand how anyone can tell me what Lavia is going to do next season when there's no evidence to suggest what he's capable of in a Chelsea shirt. I just don't hear it. But don't get me wrong. I also hear what Don's saying. Like Palmer and Nkunku, Enzo, Caicedo, chuck Elise in there. Like it starts looking really good for Chelsea. It actually looks like potentially these players that were just signed as potential players, they start to moving the needle a little bit. We start looking forwards. Look, Lavia had a good season at Southampton, but there's just question marks for me at whether or not he's going to have the fitness to play for Chelsea. Like hopefully he does, but I just don't know when it's going to happen. But yeah, honestly, if Chelsea get Elise like over the line, that would be unbelievable for Chelsea. That's the type of player that I think absolutely elevates Chelsea to the next level by having an Elise on the right-hand side.
I actually agree with what Don's saying here about Lavia at Southampton because I was a big fan. I looked at him, he absolutely beasted us. Remember when we threw the title away, not the season just gone, one before that, against Southampton at home? He literally was incredible, right, in midfield for us, right? But I think we have to look at him in a Chelsea shirt before, but in Southampton, it's fair. Sorry, Dan, you were trying to come in, bruv. Come on.
I was going to say, but that comment doesn't hold because we've seen Lavia do it in one season in a relegation team where we've seen so many teams like that. One bright star looks amazing. Timber was doing it for 2-3 seasons at Ajax, Champions League as well, might I add. So I don't accept that at the moment. No, we've got to see what Lavia does in the Premier League with a good team. Simple as that.
People need to remember as well that players aren't always the same after massive injuries like that. A couple of big setbacks can really change a player's career, change their trajectory. Look at Van Dijk, the top of the game. Look how much an injury sort of held him back and hindered him for a season or two. It was probably only the last season that's just finished that we started to see Van Dijk return to the form that we'd seen in the last few seasons gone by. And I'd even say, I've heard Chelsea fans tell me about Wesley Fofana going to be our main centre-back next season. The guy's not played football for 2 seasons. People need to remember that you don't just come back and switch it on like that unless you are an absolute like freak of nature. Do you know what I mean? These injuries...
Yeah, that's fair, by the way, because I think he's a baller, but that's fair because when you come back with a massive injury like that, I mean, this guy's broke his leg before, had an ACL before, and now he's going to come back. What's he going to be like? Is he
And
going to
look
be
at
the same
Jesus with his knee.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like Jesus ain't even close to what he was before that knee in the. It was a World Cup that he did his knee.
Yeah, World Cup.
Remember?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Look, to be fair, yeah, Lavia did look good at Southampton. And fingers crossed, he looks good at Chelsea in the future. But to put all your eggs in that basket and back him to be successful next season is risky business because you just don't know. You're going to look good on receipts if you start saying Lavia is going to be fantastic and he comes back and he looks good. But to be honest, I don't live for receipts. And I look at it with what I've got realistically and what I've seen this season. And right now, Lavia ain't starting the season for Chelsea at Holdham Field. Probably not. Hopefully by January he's in the running and he's playing and he's showing that he's got the fitness levels to maintain that position for Chelsea. But right now I can't be confident suggesting that that's the answer there.
Is he back in training yet, Dan?
I honestly don't know. He's probably on holiday. Like, do you know what I mean? It's middle of June. Footballers are on holiday.
It's very strange for me
Wesley
to
Fofana.
actually sit here and talk about Lavia, where he had a good season, and how many first team games this guy has played in his career. We're talking about Chelsea Football Club that have so many players and they want to achieve and they want to play top 4. This is just a risk, Lavia. How do you know that he's going to play the same at Chelsea that he played at Southampton? Yes, he's a Man City academy player, but he doesn't have enough games to start for Chelsea Football Club. He just doesn't. Not a first team football. The guy was a youngster at Man City, went to Southampton, played well, hands down, looked great and everything. But I've seen this movie 50,000 times in football around the world. So I am not saying Lavia is going to be bad, but for people to be sure that he's going to be fantastic and the starting player for Chelsea, it's just simply you're just playing the risk here. I'm saying it's a 50-50. You're saying it's 100% guaranteed that he's going to be phenomenal. Where is that coming from?
The thing with Lavia, he had one very, very good season at Southampton. Exceptional season. But that's all we can go off right now.
And is that enough? Is that enough to be 100%, to put all your, like, to put the season and like, oh my God, Lavia is going to be the starting holding midfielder next season. I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell that. I'm going to rely on him. Well, number one, he had a couple of injuries last season. Number two, he doesn't have enough minutes underneath his belt. The fact that Cole Palmer worked to perfection last season, that is the odd situation, not the other way around. Not a lot of players go to a top 6 team not playing football and show what Palmer did for Chelsea last season. That doesn't happen often. Even Martin Odegaard for Real Madrid, it didn't work out the first time. Even at Arsenal the first season, he was like so that, and then he went to Sociedad, if I'm not mistaken, from Real Madrid. It takes time. It takes time.
No, with that, I think with Lavia, I think when Chelsea signed him last season, well, we'll call it this season still. My thing with him was, what is this guy going to develop into? You know, he is a really strong talent that could take his game to the next level. They never bought him as the finished product. He's too young to be the finished product. But like Dan said, with regards to the injury, we don't know if this guy will reach his potential. We don't know if this is something that has taken not just a year, but getting back into match fitness, getting back into game playing. We don't know what he's going to do. This season, for him, is going to be about him getting himself back into contention. There's no way this guy's going to start the first game of the season and be a Rolls Royce. He needs the time.
And you know what? If that happens, by the way, then I'll be able to get behind people telling me that 100% he's going to be a top player for the team and potentially you look to build around him next season and the season after that. But you have to be patient. You have to give him time and you have to judge off the evidence that is there in front of you. So
around January time is when you'd assess his performance. Like you said, in about games under his belt, at that point you're approaching the half point of the season. Then you can assess where he's actually at. Until then, no. Because even for a player with big injuries, players need sometimes 6 months to get back up to speed, even just to feel like themselves again.
And I'm the same with Timber. Like Timber's been out the whole year, and he came back and looked very, very sharp. But I'm not expecting this guy to go take us to the next level next season because he's going to need some time to get himself fit. And I'm quite glad that he's not gone with the Holland team, so he can get back to where he needs to be. And let's see what happens, man. Big injuries like that, they can be bad. Listen, guys, we're just under. We're now 33 away from 20k people. There's over 400 people in here, so please hit the like button and hit that subscribe, and then we will hit 20k. While we're going live, that would be amazing. So that's what we need. Why are you all
scared of subscribing to the channel? I'm sure there's about 50 of you that haven't subscribed to the channel. I'm 100%.
Come on, people.
Guys, subscription button is very simple and it doesn't cost you a penny. And you can get this guy to 20k in an unbelievable work rate. Just hit the subscription button. We're not leaving the stream until this guy gets 20k. Come on, people. It's simple. People are so hesitant. If there's 400 people here, you guys are entertained and enjoying the stream, just subscribe. Simple, just do it. It's free.
Love that, man. Love that, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, please do that, people, because it means so much, man. To get to 20k is the next target. I don't normally beg for subs, but when it comes like that, come on, please just hit the subscribe button. Martin, let me come to you, man. Julian Alvarez, links of him, rumors of him going. What sort of player are they getting? And how does it compare? I suppose my question is, how does it compare to when Jesus left Man City? Is it similar to that? Because I heard you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, it's a similar situation. And so, I mean, his game time last season was huge. He had, well over 2,500 minutes last season. But that was on the back of KDB being injured for 6 months and Haaland being injured for 2 months. So he was always going to get the game time there. The problem is, he scored, his GA rate was quite exceptional for what he did last season. 13 assists, 20 plus goals, did very, very well. The problem is he wants to be a number 9. And that comes down to the same problem. The reason why I say it's very similar to Jesus is Jesus had that problem. He was stuck out onto the right wing. We were playing false 9s instead of Jesus up top. He was being carved out onto the wing. And then when he got to, I think it was a PSG game, he didn't get picked at all. And he went and phoned his mum and told everyone he was unhappy. And that's the thing. And that's not a dig, that's just genuinely what he did. So the same with Zinchenko. And personally, I know the club don't want to sell Alvarez. You don't want to sell an absolute quality player. He's 24 years old. He's won everything in the game that there is at 24. Including, as we all know, the World Cup. Of course, you don't want to lose him, but we only paid 14 million for him. And if someone comes in at 80, 90 million quid, you got to look at it in a business sense in the market that we're in. You're talking 1,000% profit back.
Martin. No, I was going to ask. I kind of feel like Alvarez is in the same scenario that Hernandez was at United. Chicharito was always a guy that would score goals, come on and did important things, but was never going to be that starter for the team.
Yeah, and that's the problem. But I don't have a lot of sympathy for him as well because he signed at the exact same time Haaland signed. So he knew what he was coming into. He knew he was coming in to play with Haaland, but Pep doesn't play 2 up top. You have even our formations when we play 3-5-2. It becomes a Kevin De Bruyne or a Foden or a Bernardo that becomes that second striker with Haaland rather than Alvarez. And for me, I would love Alvarez to stay, but I understand there could be some frustration from him. But the bid's got to come. The bid doesn't come, he stays. He only signed a new contract last season. So I think overall he's happy. But again, if you look at the last few games of the season when everyone was fit, he didn't play a lot again. He was back on the bench.
I like that. I like that he's almost kicking up a fuss about it. And the reason being is because we've had so many players over the years that are just quite happy to just sit on the bench and just take the money and just play only a handful of games a season. Considering he's literally won the lot in the last year or two in terms of trophies, he's still motivated and wants to play games. He could quite easily sit on the bench, but he's still a young lad. And I actually like that. I appreciate that he's saying, look, I want to play. And if I'm not going to play here, I'll go and play somewhere else. Because obviously, when he was sold the dream from Pep, going and to play to Man City, like the allure of going to play for Man City, of course he would have jumped at it.
But he wasn't a Pep signing. Sorry, Pete, he wasn't a Pep signing. It was an Alvarez one.
Even so, the point that I'm making is that making the step to Man City, of course he's going to be excited about it. He wouldn't have cared that Haaland's there. The chance to play for Man City, the chance to potentially win trophies and play in England. Of course he would have wanted that. But that time's passed now. Like, he's won those trophies. He's played the football. Now he's desperate to play more as a young player. He wants to establish himself as a name. And I appreciate that, because you go back way back when to the likes of Chelsea with Sean Wright-Phillips and players like that. They just sat on the bench for months and months and months and just soaked up all that money. And it just eats away at players' careers. Players' careers are short. You want to play football. If you love the game, have a genuine love for the game, you want to go and play football. So I admire that. The big question is that, can Pep do enough to convince him to stay another season to play? And if he does go, who's he going to? Because if he's going to go anyway, he wants to be the main man. He wants to start, and he deserves to.
I know Atletico Madrid are interested. Atletico are interested. PSG are interested. But I knew the Premier League club was Chelsea. But it's if people don't bid, you can't make a decision, I guess.
I don't see him being a main man anywhere, though. I genuinely, like these clubs you mentioned, I don't see him going there and being the main man. I just don't see it.
I can see him at
He could. He'd be the main man at PSG and Atletico.
I don't think
definitely Atletico. Like Simeone.
I mean, let's put it on. He played a lot of the season as a number 10 and got over 20 goals.
Well,
and that was as a number 10.
Personally, I just don't think situation a while.
I think this is, but Dan, I understand why you're thinking that. Is because we haven't seen him play enough. We haven't seen him play enough on a regular basis as that main guy. And that's the thing that I'm saying, is that he just needs to go to whatever team he goes to and goes, I'm the man. I'm going to be playing every week. I'm going to be the focal point of the team. And that's why I genuinely think Simeone will get the best out of him. He will light it up in La Liga if he goes there, because he'll be the main man. Everything will go through him. And he, like I say, he's a talented boy. Really is.
Did anybody here think this is another Ferran Torres situation? Talented boy, played okay under Pep, then he leaves, and then he's like, he's a meh. He's all right.
No, I think he's far more talented than Torres. Far more talented.
What is he
talking to World Cup?
I asked this morning with the guys.
Talking to World Cup, Mo. And did play as well.
A lot of people won the World Cup. Romero won. It doesn't matter.
Right, if you ever say that about Mbappe again, we'll have words. Don't ever say Mbappe's only won the World Cup.
Okay, what is he elite at?
Finishing. He can finish. Absolutely can finish.
Elite finishing. Like Haaland elite, Isak elite, Lewandowski elite.
Well, how many goals did he score last season, Mo?
No,
how many goals did he score?
Forget the goals. Raheem Sterling scored 20-something goals. The most overrated player to ever play in the Premier League, right? In my opinion, right? But because Pep is a genius, Julian Alvarez, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm saying, is this guy can be the main man for a top team in Europe? Can this guy go to Barcelona and be the top guy? Can he be their Lewandowski, their Luis Suarez? Yes? You think yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I won't have Barcelona. Yeah. It's part of the reason why Ferran Torres isn't seen as a good player.
Is he better than Isak?
I think so.
As a forward, as a striker. Is he?
I think so, yeah.
You think so? You think Julian Alvarez is better than Isak?
No.
Yeah.
Could be. Not yet.
Guys, by the way, we treat Julian Alvarez as a youngster, right? Do you guys know how old is Julian Alvarez? Can
24. He's not a youngster. He's not a kid.
He's not a youngster, exactly. He's not a youngster.
He's 24 years old.
Isak is 24. Thank you, Pete.
He's the same age as Haaland.
I thought he was the same age. I didn't realize the same age. Wow.
Isak is the same age as the guy.
Isak's better. Yeah, for me. Isak's better.
I actually agree. I
agree.
think Isak is absolutely elite, man. I love the kid. I love him. I think he's amazing. I like Alvarez.
Listen, it's opinions. It's all opinions, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. But the thing is, Martin, you watch Alvarez week in, week out, and Pete watches Isak week in, week out. I look at what I see with my eyes, and I look at Isak, and I just see an absolute baller. I think Alvarez is a very good player. I think he is a good finisher, and I think he is a player. Would Alvarez be able to lead the line for, let's say, an Arsenal or a Chelsea? Maybe, but I'm not sure that I've seen enough so far to know that he would go and get 20 to 25 goals. Because I'll say this, when we signed Jesus, I had a lot of City fans say to me, he's going to get you 20 goals. And I was like, really? Like, I've seen him get 13.
Hang on,
Is Julian
Dan, sorry
Alvarez
to
more
jump
talented
in.
than Gabriel
He did
Jesus,
last
Martin?
season.
Martin.
Dan, he did last season.
Who did? Well, Alvarez.
Yeah, he got 20
Martin,
plus goals last
Martin.
season.
Martin, please. Is Julian Alvarez more talented than Gabriel Jesus?
He's a better striker than Jesus, 100%.
Yeah, probably not more talented though. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think-
agree with that. I'd agree with that. I'm just looking at his stats. He's actually scored, yeah. So he got 11 goal Premier League goals. He got 5 in the Champions League and 2 in the Club World Cup. So he got 2, 7.
And
yeah,
how
so
many
he's
of
got
those
18.
games were at striker? Like
He got
3?
18.
That's
pretty
my
good
point.
numbers.
Not all of them were his 10s. Very rarely
don't
played
think-
striker.
I actually think this is how we should look at football now. Anybody that plays for Pep, take his output and slice it in half, and that's what you get in other clubs. That's a testament to how good the guy is. Like any player that plays for Pep Guardiola, just slice his output to half. This is what you normally get
I
in
think
a
Zlatan would have
normal
something to
club.
say about that, by the way.
Maybe 60-70%. Who?
Zlats ain't having that. He was better everywhere bar with Pep. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
true.
they had Messi. Okay, that's completely different. And by the way, Zlatan still scored goals.
I'm not
For
saying he
Barcelona.
didn't, but it just didn't. That relationship really didn't work, did it? But
Like
I
this
think
is what
the
the
Ferran
problem. I
Torres
would be
debate, by the way.
hesitant. I would be hesitant, and this is just me, to actually think that any player that comes from under Pep would have the same exact career that we would have in another team, including any team, by the way. That's how good Pep Guardiola is. Like, I wouldn't think that any player, like, for example, I'm going to give you an example. Any center back that plays under Pep, can anyone sit here and tell me that any center back that plays under Pep would go to another club and perform to the same level as he plays with Pep?
I think it's a fair
He has,
point.
mate.
I think it's
That's
fair
a
point.
testament to how good the team is and how this guy can get 120, 130 out of any player because he's a genius, right? So that is that. Would you pay 100 million for someone like Alvarez, assuming that he's going to come in and bang the same percentage? Because if we look at 18 games as a striker, 11 goals and 9 assists, do you think if you play 38 games, he'll give you a 40 GA in the season? Anybody can sit here with a full mouth and tell me, yes, I will take Julian Alvarez. He will give me 40 GA as my main player. I'll be like,
Are
maybe.
you saying, Mo? Are you saying then if potentially Pep leaves next season that there's going to be a big drop off from City? Is that what you're saying?
Depends who they get, though. It depends. Of course, listen, Pep Guardiola leaves any club, there's going to be a drop. How big is that drop? It depends on how many players, good players you get, what's the coach like, and all this stuff. But Pep Guardiola is arguably one of the best managers, if not the best manager that we have seen, right? In terms of how he puts a system that makes everyone look great. Everyone look good. He is the best in hiding the flaws in his players. He's the best in this. Every player. So that's why I'm thinking, is it really worth it to go and invest your biggest budget in a player like Alvarez and say he's going to lead the line?
Nah, interesting.
It is interesting, man. I like him. I'm a big listen. I'm a big fan. I don't know where he's going to go if he is being sold by Manchester City. I think it might be abroad, but I don't know that Man City would give Alvarez to Arsenal, to Chelsea, to I don't know, Spurs or whatever. But maybe I'm wrong. We've seen it before with Sterling, Zinchenko, Jesus, etc. But I don't know. I don't know if I see that, and I don't know how much money he would cost, Martin. I don't know if there's a sum that you're looking at.
About 80 minimum. Probably looking at.
80 million.
Pounds. 80 million pounds.
Yeah.
Wow,
All
that's
right.
a lot of money.
But that's
How much is
again,
Liverpool?
that's Pep Guardiola. They sold Ferran Torres for profit. guys. After one season,
How much
what
is signing for? How
this
much?
is what you have. This is what
It's
happens.
about
when you play
16
for the
million,
winners.
wasn't it? They bought him for about
Yes.
16 million from River Plate.
This is what happens when you play for the
14
winners.
and a half.
The winning
There you
teams
go.
always do that.
It's
I
mad,
think
isn't
you'll
it?
take 60 for him, you know, Martin.
Got him?
You'll take 60 for that, I think.
No, we won't.
Hey,
Hey,
Dan's
Dan,
testing the waters.
have you been hired by
there.
Bowler? You've been hired by Bowler to negotiate.
I see you. That was your
60 is
play.
a good price, mate. If you bought him for 15, 14, I think
So
that's
basically,
right.
you're getting. So let's just look at this objectively before I know Dan wants to move on.
Hey, we got a profit on Sterling, Mo.
Man City wants to sell the player that is second in every position he played at for 80 million pounds.
No. See, no, you just worded that completely wrong. City do not want to sell. Stop saying that.
Okay,
No one
okay.
said City
Maybe,
wants to
okay, maybe
sell.
I said that wrong, Martin. City wants 80 million for the player that is second in every position he plays at. He's second as a 10, he's second as a striker, he's second as a left wing, he's second on right wing. Right? Am I wrong here to say that? But City wants to sell him for 80, or City are willing to accept 80 million.
Yeah.
That's crazy, guys. But if you think about it from that perspective, that is crazy.
All right, hang on. Have you seen some of the prices of players around Europe right now?
Yeah, I have.
Huge. Caicedo was what, 115? João Neves at Benfica, £110 million release clause.
Caicedo
19 years
arguably was
old.
one of the best DMs in the league when he was sold.
No, my point is the market. It's not. Listen, I don't think any of these prices are actually genuine prices. It's the market is so messed up. You're going to have to pay. This is why a lot of clubs are looking at release clauses right now, because that's where your value in money is right now, is in release clauses.
The issue is, Martin, right, that people look at clubs and they'll say, like, this is our star asset, this is our prized asset. We need a huge amount of money to release him from the club because we literally can't afford to let him go, and then it's going to cost us a fortune to replace, blah, blah, blah. And their whole sort of business model is set up on being a selling club. Manchester City absolutely don't need to generate the type of funds that maybe a Brighton do or an Aston Villa do, because everyone's well aware of how much money they have. So that's probably why Manchester City, look, although you've made profit on players, you probably haven't generated outrageous transfer fees for the players that have moved on at the same time. Like, if you think about it, Raheem Sterling, what, a season after like a really good year, you've sold him for like 40 odd million. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like a realistic price for the player rather than an excessive overpriced.
Would you say Cole Palmer at 50 million was excessive?
Was it 50 bang on? Was it? I thought it was 40.
With add-ons, it's 50.
Right. He's probably hit it, right, hasn't he? Unless they're like
no. But at the time, I know we're looking in a hindsight sort of thing, but at the time, I'll be honest with you, a lot of City fans were like, "Wow, can't turn down that bid."
Yeah, I think that's probably. Yeah, it seems like a good price, doesn't it? At the time, with the amount of game times that he's had and things like that, at that moment in the summer, probably seemed like a reasonable price to let him go for. That's probably why you were happy with him sort of departing for that amount of money. But yeah, I hear you. I just think with the players that have actually performed for City and been there in the team, generating a bigger transfer fee isn't something that City have been unbelievable at.
It's something we've generally not. But what we always have to do is, people don't realise this, when you look at these new rules that come in, City, before these new rules with this anchor, we were perfectly fine. There wasn't an issue with the wage bill or anything else. As soon as this anchor came in, you actually look at it. It was on Swiss Ramble, if anyone follows it. City's wage bill is actually one of the highest in the league. So we do have to be careful in what we do in terms of City still have PSR rules to follow. People think we don't. This is why we basically had the net spend trophy, which I hate. I hate this net spend.
I thought City made their own rules, Martin.
Oh,
he's gone there. He's gone there. I didn't think he was going to, but he's gone there.
Yeah, never mind. Listen, there's always one.
But I'm
There's
gonna say
always one.
the
Look,
more-
Martin, I
the
hear you,
more-
by the way. I think FFP and some of the regulations that are put in place are killing the Premier League, and it's the reason that we're attracting championship managers and low-level players.
The more City keep Alvarez, do we think the price go high or lower, the value?
That's a great question. Probably lower because he's not going to be playing, I don't think, regularly. But maybe if he turns it on each time he plays and he's a super sub and he turns into a bit of an Ollie, kind of Solskjaer
But
at Man
that's
United.
not what
over the years.
happened. So we try to look at the history and try to predict the future. The majority of the season, apart from the first part of the season when he was banging goals, after this, yes, he got some goals here and there. But the majority of the City fans and the majority of the panelists and the majority of the analysts of football said, take him out. Take him out of the lineup. You are forcing him in the lineup. He isn't good at the 10. He isn't good on the left wing. He isn't good. He's good as a striker. And you have a player in front of you in Erling Haaland. So looking at the history of last season, I'm thinking Pep might not depend on him, especially if they sign an Eze or an Olise and Haaland stays fit. Where does Julian Alvarez play? Where is he getting the minutes? In the cup? Some games in the Champions League at the end when they're already through? The value go down.
Good
Potentially.
Point. Great point.
Talking about players, right, that potentially fit into systems and are system players, does anyone think that Cole Palmer isn't in for the season that he's just had? Because, like, was he a Pochettino, like, perfect player for that system? Does anyone wonder?
Yeah.
Just because I'm just wondering what people think on that.
What system then?
Goals next
What
season?
system then? What system?
I think he was one of the only players in Poch's system that was allowed a free role.
What system? Yeah. There's no
Well,
system.
I kind of agree with you, Mo, but I think Pochettino
There was
had
a
a
system.
fairly rigid structure of where he wanted his players to play, bar Cole Palmer. It was at times he said it was Cole Palmer, like give Cole Palmer the ball.
I'm
hope for a
joking. There was a
result.
system, by the way. I'm joking. There was a system. There was some-
Yeah.
I actually think Cole Palmer is an absolute baller, man.
Do you
Cole,
expect 20 goals again next season? Like, do you think that's realistic?
I don't. Because
I expect about 15 penalties and 5 goals. Yes.
I'm just trying to judge where people are at with it
Oh.
because I'm completely unsure with Maresca and I just don't know what to expect.
No, I think Cole Palmer has proved that actually it doesn't matter what system or what manager you have, he'll score goals. He's a talented boy, mate. I look at this. There will be enough scenarios whether you play a system that is one that you like or find entertaining. Dan, I think he will be a nuisance of himself to get goals. I think he is a fantastic player. I'm stunned that City got rid of him, man. Honestly, what a player! An absolute unbelievable player. The only Man City player to score against Arsenal this season just gone. He plays for Chelsea now. Sorry, mine. But yeah. But listen, I wanted to talk just lastly. I was going to go into England, but I know we're running out of time a bit. But I wanted to talk about the Conor Gallagher thing very, very
we
quickly.
speak about one thing then. I'm sorry.
No, go on,
Martin,
bro.
hold that. Jack Grealish is out of the England squad. Hold.
I was going to bring that up,
that.
to be fair.
But
I was going to bring that up.
But go ahead. Do your thing. I just wanted to say.
And I know
that.
it's cool. I did want to touch on
Me
it.
and
so
Martin
I'm
have a
actually
back and
glad.
forth about Jack Grealish.
Mo, I'm actually glad. I'm actually glad because he can focus now on pre-season. I mean, I'm gutted for him personally, but he can have a full pre-season. Because listen, as much as I like Jack, next season is a big year for him. He's got to produce.
On
If
the
he doesn't
bench,
produce,
a big year
it
on
won't
the
be-
bench. He has to get.
Eze or
No,
Gordon get injured, he'll get called up, Martin. That's what I reckon.
Pep has plans for Jack. I wouldn't rule out Jack being in the midfield next season.
wow.
when you have Kovacic, Rodri planning to sign Eze,
Bruno.
and you have Bruno Guimaraes, yes, Jack Grealish will definitely get in that.
But this
midfield.
is why I've just said players will go
100%.
out.
And Kevin
why
De
I've
Bruyne
just said
and Foden.
Players will go out. There's talk of Nunez going to Saudi Arabia.
Wow! After one season, I forgot you can afford that.
Yeah, that was a mad signing. That one, wasn't it? That was a mad signing. But
Love him,
I do
Martin.
think, like, let's do you know what? Let's go. We've done kind of-
Go ahead to the next
I
topic.
love
I'm
it.
sorry,
I love
I'm
this
sorry,
City
I'm
hate.
sorry.
This City hate. I love it.
What hate? What hate? Where is the
You
hate?
know what you do, Mo.
No, I just don't like Jack Grealish at Manchester City.
I know you don't like Jack. You don't like Jack. You never have liked Jack. You got a dartboard with Jack Grealish.
Pass back.
We know what you've got.
Go ahead, Zan,
guys.
I'm
I
sorry.
am literally 13 people away from 20k. Come on, man. You can make
Oh,
this happen.
come on, people. Subscribe,
13
man.
people,
Dan deserves
please.
this.
Come on. Thank you, man. Please, 13 of you, just hit the subscribe button. Please, it's free. That's all I need, man.
Got the
13,
gavel.
and then we get to 20.
The gavel
There we
out.
go. The gavel's there, man. It's there,
I mean,
man.
don't
Come on,
forget,
please.
like City do sell players. Gundo
Yeah.
went, Port went.
Yeah.
City will sell.
I think City will sell, and I think it's interesting that Maddison and Grealish have both been left out of this England squad. I was going to touch on the Gallagher thing, but I feel like we did it to death on Saeed's channel, and I feel like I don't want to really go into that again.
Yeah.
With the England squad, is there any massive shocks there for you? Because the one that I will say, no one's talking about this. I think it's really incredibly harsh that Lewis Dunk gets to go and Branthwaite doesn't. With the performance he's had this season, is shocking. How Lewis Dunk, and people might say, well, he needed experience. This guy's got no experience in an England shirt whatsoever. So how the hell has he got ahead of an unbelievably good season that Branthwaite has had? I just think it's mad, guys.
I think it's a Connor Cody situation. I've said it before and I got laughed at, but Southgate's obsessed with good travellers. He wants people that are going to come, not moan, be good professionals, keep the level of training high. And I think that's what this is. I think that is the reason he's gone. I think if Jared Branthwaite's in the team, he's going to be unhappy if he see himself not getting minutes. But if Dunk ain't getting minutes, I don't see him complaining. If Southgate realistically starts Dunk at the Euros, then we don't have a chance.
I agree. Who's going to be the centre-back pairing? Is it Stones and Gehi? Or is it Stones and Gomez? Or where are we going with this centre-back pairing?
World-class Konza. World-class Konza in the
World-class
house.
Konza. It might be, Dan. It might
Come
be.
on.
What would you do,
Absolute
Dan?
joke. I don't understand.
I think it's going to be Gehi, man. Stones and Gehi, I think.
It'd have been the Everton boy for me. It'd have been him and Stones, 100%. I don't think. I don't know what it is with Gehi. When I watch him for England, I don't feel confident with him at the back. When I watched him the other night, I was like, this guy I'm not there yet. I'm not there with him. I heard reports that Southgate said that with Branthwaite, he said, oh, it's experience. Well, then why are you taking Kobe Mainoo then? You know what I mean? It's just classic Gareth Southgate dropping a fucking clanger. I can't understand it. I can't see where I can see why Gomez is there. I can see why Konza's there because they can play in different positions. But Lewis Dunk, can you honestly? Right, it's the final. We've just won it. Do you honestly see Lewis Dunk stood there with the trophy as a starter? I don't see it. And at least with Branthwaite, you can see it.
Us holding the trophy.
Yeah, well, no, definitely not. But what I'm saying is, I just don't see why Dunk's there. I would have started the Branthwaite. 100%.
Well, the lineup's just in for tonight, by the way, because we've got Iceland in like the send-off game, and there was rumours that this was going to be closer to his starting 11 for the tournament. And Walker, Trippier, Stones, and Gehi look to be the back four. So that's probably what you're looking at, probably.
What's the
Guys,
rest of the teams? I can't go.
Just to quickly cut in, we have now hit 20k. Thank
Go
you,
on,
guys.
Dan. Come on.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved.
Really
son.
appreciate everybody.
Big
in the
up,
chat.
Dan. Well done, mate.
Love
Cheers,
that.
man.
Well done, chat.
Really
Well done for
appreciate that.
subscribing.
Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate that. That has made the weekend for me. So there we go. Yeah, we're over 20k now. Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, that means the world. So to get to 20k was my next target. It's done. I don't have to beg for subscribers. So thank you so much, man.
Right,
really
come on, chat. 25k, hurry up.
Yeah, get another 5k. That'd be amazing. But
By
no,
the start of Euros, please.
Yeah, that would be nice. But no, thank you all. Big up to all of you as well for being on, and big up for everybody in the chat.
I'm not English, but I have a vision in this.
Are you not? Are you not?
Well, I'm not. I'm not. I actually think it should be John Stones, Kyle Walker, and Gehi at the back, and Trent as a right back in Rice, right? And maybe play Kobe Mainoo as well. And then you put 4 forwards, Bellingham, and then 3 forwards, whatever you want to choose. That would work very well because Kyle Walker can cover the right side for Trent, and Trent can just be a midfielder. Otherwise, Trippier, who's like 55 years old, right? For no reason. What is Trippier going to do? Just cross when Harry Kane is dropping deep? I think like this is just a setup for a 3 at the back. Gehi, Stones, and Kyle Walker.
I hear you on that, by the way,
Move
Mo.
on.
I think this England
Trent
squad
invert.
screaming for 3 at the back.
Yeah. What is this obsession that I have to play The guy doesn't have a left back. He just doesn't. Luke Shaw, he's not fit. We know that. He's not fit. Luke Shaw is not going to play. 3 at the back.
Second game.
Trent, Kobe Mainoo, Declan Rice, Bellingham, and
Like the World Cup then, Mo. Like the World Cup 2018 when he played Kyle Walker at right side of centre back for that, didn't he? And allowed on the side there.
Yeah, just do that.
And do you know what, right, Dan? There's an argument to be said that potentially is what Southgate's second best team he's had for England, that 2018 World Cup.
Because I see Kieran Trippier is useless at left back, right? The guy can cross with his right foot. Why is he playing left back? He's just forcing the player into there because you like him. I think that's crazy, to be honest. But to be honest with you guys, I'm looking at this team. Is one of the. I know that you guys think that this is some of the best talent you guys had ever. I'm looking at this team. It's a pretty weak team.
Not in the forward line. Not in the forward line. It ain't, Mo.
Talent, lots of talent, but apart from Harry Kane, I'm looking at all of them, and I think, yeah, that's all right.
Does anyone can anyone work the formation?
There's no Wayne Rooney there. There is no. Come on, you guys had 2010.
I don't know, man. Sorry, Dan. I know you're going to come in, both of you, both Dans. Sorry.
Oh no! I was just going to say what I find funny is Maguire's had fucking torture all season from the media. Second, he says he's not fit to play and he's not in there. People are going, "Oh my God, we haven't got Maguire." I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Ridiculous.
He's been solid for England though, Dan, hasn't he? So we're going to miss him, I think.
Absolutely. And I just think it's brilliant. You know, rival fans have bantered me for so long because I've backed him, and now they're like, "Oh my God, no Maguire! What are we going to do?" And I'm like, you know, what do you want? What do you want?
Do you know what it is in tournament football? You get those moments where your back's against the wall and you're defending and you're clinging onto a lead. And someone like Harry Maguire in that moment that's where he excels. You know, if you're playing a high line and you're sitting on the halfway line and he's in a foot race, you probably don't want Maguire as your man, really. There's probably better options. But in that moment, when you're hanging onto a 1-0 lead that might take you through into the next round of the tournament, I think there's something to be said about Maguire and his mentality. And he hasn't really put a foot wrong for England, I wouldn't say, apart from, I think there was 1 or 2 mistakes in some friendly games, was it not?
So based on that logic, you think Bukayo Saka should start ahead of Cole Palmer on the right side?
Yeah, for England, I do, yeah.
Okay. So that's how you guys see. That's how you guys see international football. It's who performs for the England squad.
Do you know what? It is a little bit. And it's about players that have proven to me that they deserve it. And the way Saka's come back after that penalty miss tells me that he wants to win something for his country.
Yet, most fans actually criticize Southgate for that approach.
I'm not sure Southgate has that exact.
Which one is it? I want to know which one is it. Is it the players that have performed well for England? Or is it based on how you perform over the 50 games you play in the season? You should be choosing. A lot of fans, and not you, Dan, but a lot of fans criticize Southgate for that choice of players based on how his players and how they've done well. But then they say, oh, no, but we actually want Saka to stop because he has been good for England. And which one is it?
But that falls in line with me with Grealish, because I was furious at Grealish didn't get in the squad, because I firmly believe Grealish does things for England that any other players can't do. When he come on the other day, I thought he was fantastic. I think with Grealish, you've got someone that will win you free kicks. We're known to be quite decent with dead ball England. I was gutted that he wasn't in the squad. I didn't have him down to start, but how many people said in the France game when we got knocked out in the World Cup, why is Grealish not come on early? You know, why has he not got him there earlier? I honestly think Grealish would have done a job for us. I think you need players that you can trust in.
Dan, they don't like pop pass. They don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Martin. The thing is, I think what Dan's saying here, like Grealish ain't pop pass in that England team. He kind of goes.
I know
back
he's not. Dan, I know. I'm being.
He kind of goes back to the Grealish we knew at Villa. You know, he'd get on the ball and he'll drive. And
totally agree.
And you know what? The fact of the matter is, is that look, Grealish might not have had the best season, and sometimes I question Southgate picking players. Like if Henderson had been picked to go to this Euros, I'd be livid on the back of the season, and I questioned it for the World Cup as well, when I didn't think he was exceptional and things like that. But the issue is with Jack is I feel like maybe he was a little bit complacent, because the fact that that he's come out and said that he's shocked that he didn't get called up, I think that probably shows that Jack wasn't looking over his shoulder enough and aware of what was going on around him in that position. But I do hear you. The fact that there's potentially Eze and Gordon have been called up, I think it probably would have been fair to take one and then a Grealish.
Yeah.
One thing
Jack
that
said a very... Sorry, go on, Dan.
No, I was to say that, but the one thing for me though, and I'm probably going to get pelters for this, I've seen Jared Bowen play for England a few times now, and I don't think,
bang average, by the way.
think he does what Jack Grealish does for us in that team. I don't think he does it. I don't. So if you're asking me if we need someone to come on and change, am I picking Jared Bowen, who yes has had 2 brilliant seasons for West Ham, over Jack Grealish? No, I don't. I would bring Jack Grealish on every time.
Yeah, I think there's
Very
people have actually
sentimental.
been more surprised by Jack Grealish than anybody. I mean, Branthwaite, I mentioned, obviously James Maddison, but he's not one that starts all the time or gets into the squad all the time. Let's be real, Southgate's not really appreciated Jack Grealish, in my opinion. Since the England manager, he's hardly played him. And then when he was on fire, he hardly ever played him. You know, I remember when we went out to France and he come on in
When was he on fire?
3
then?
minutes.
The last Euros, Grealish was on fire, and I remember he brought him on for like 10 minutes, and the crowd
Germany.
lifted. Yeah,
Brilliant. Against Germany, brilliant.
Also, when you talk about players around the squad to keep the fucking spirits high and stuff like that, he is the player you want around the squad. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Do you know what it is with Grealish? Grealish has got the Gascoigne tag, sadly. He's got the Gascoigne tag as a drinker, partier, blah, blah, blah. And Jack, the reason why I'm happy Jack's not gone is Jack's had a very rough year off the field. I'm not going to go into it. I got told this a long time ago during the season that there was a lot of issues going on. Obviously, everyone knows about the armed robbery with his family.
What?
While he was playing it. But while he was playing at Goodison Park, all his family were in his house, and some people came in and armed robbed his whole family. Because remember, he's got these Gucci contracts and everything else, and he was told stop advertising it and get it off, because he basically was advertising he had all this designer stuff and all this other stuff, and he got robbed, and it affected him very badly. The Doku Grealish stuff on social media, that was even addressed by Pep in his press conference. To me, this is the best thing for Jack. He can have a proper pre-season, reset his mental health. I know apparently, reportedly, he was even seeing a counsellor as well. So I think he's just had a bad time off the field.
You know what's mad? Sorry, big up, Dan. I know you've got to shoot off, mate. Big up for coming on, my bro. Much appreciated. Love. And yeah, see you next time, man.
See you, Dan.
Well done.
see you later, Dan.
Well done. 20. Fucking hard work pays off. That's it. Well done. Guys, take care.
Thanks a lot, Dan. No, you're a good man.
You're getting Southgate. You're getting Southgate.
Do you know what's mad with the whole Grealish thing? I want to end now because obviously we've been on a while, but the Grealish thing, everyone was like, "Oh, look at him getting pissed." Yeah, do you know what? If I'm on the treble, I'll be getting absolutely hammered.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I'll be going and getting absolutely plastered.
Absolutely, he has all the right to celebrate.
Do you know what
I
it
didn't
is?
get that. I didn't get the hate.
Me neither.
After like the guy's having fun. He won a triple, once in a lifetime opportunity. Let the guy celebrate. However he
People
wants.
can connect with him as well. People can relate to him.
Even Erling
Yeah,
Haaland was in
totally
a
agree,
beef with him, but nothing got said about Erling Haaland being in a beef with him, having a drink, or Mahrez being in a
Because it
beef
don't
with
sell
him. having a
papers,
drink.
Martin. It don't
That
get
is the thing that I
engagement, do you know
didn't
what
get.
mean?
Like the amount of people hating on the guy that because he's celebrating. Is he hurting you?
It's bizarre, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. either.
It's a very sad state of affairs at the moment around society. I don't.
But the
understand
only
it.
thing that is against him that people said, and I think I said that time, is that a role model. You need to be worried about you because you're a public figure now and all the stuff, and you showing drunk on the street and all the stuff. This is the criticism that I kind of understood a little bit, right? That you're a role model. A lot of kids look up to you as a public figure. Being a footballer, you're a public figure.
Gone over the
You need to
top
be
now,
worried
man.
about what you do.
It's gone over
That's-
the top now, Mo. Like for me, it's mad. Like years ago, we used to have the Tuesday club at Arsenal. We were winning doubles and stuff, and we had like all of them on a Tuesday night getting hammered. You know, Ray Parler, He literally got carried out of a club, and we won the league at Old Trafford the day after. Like, it was, but that was laughed at back then. Oh, what a legend! Now Jack Grealish wins the treble and has a beer, and it's like
In
this is a
social media
disgrace,
time,
man.
Dan. Social
Oh,
media time.
it's
Potsy.
embarrassing, bro. Like, one thing I will say, and we'll end on this, I don't understand. And maybe like Martin, or let Martin come in on this really, but I kind of get. I've seen a lot of hatred coming from Man City fans, even in the chat today. People giving it to Martin. Like, I don't understand what Manchester City fans have done. I can understand what Manchester City have potentially done and why people might get a lot of hate towards the club if they've done something wrong. But I don't really understand why people are getting this. I've got a lot of friends that are Man City fans that are getting a lot of stuff at the moment. I don't get why all the hatred is coming their way in terms of their fan base. I don't understand that. We're all mates here. We're all friends. We're all football fans. Yeah, we all support different clubs. And some of the stories I'm hearing is actually quite worrying, if I'm honest. But I don't know if you want to come in on that, Martin. But...
No, it's the thing is, people are upset with City fans because we're, in their eyes, defending the club. We don't know anything. The Premier League and the club have both signed non-disclosure agreements, so no one's ever going to hear anything. The Premier League and City have both done that. But where I'm getting upset is I've got a mate who's on my channel who lives in Australia who got attacked 2 days ago in a cafe by 2 Liverpool fans. Just because he wore a City shirt, he got attacked and got called cheats, Arab lover, blah, 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 and he attacked him. And this is where it's getting to now. It's getting to a point where City fans are the ones now on trial. And all we can do is, listen, I've always said, and Dan, Mo, you know this because I've said it on your shows before. If City are found guilty, I will come out and I will say my bit. But until that day is done, I'm not going to condemn anything because I don't know. I hear things, but I can't do anything more. All we want to do is come and talk football. We're not lawyers. We're not financial experts. But it's like even when we give facts, we're told we're wrong. And the facts are there in front of everyone's eyes, and we're told we're wrong. That's all we can go off. We can only go off what our chairman says, our owners say. There's nothing else. If the day comes out we're guilty, then yes, we will condemn and we will deal with it on that day. But it's getting to a point where when I'm seeing City fans being attacked, he's going way overboard now. Way overboard.
Oh man,
Yeah,
totally.
facts.
Like, it's ridiculous, man. Absolutely crazy that's happened. So well said to you, bro. And I hope that your friend is okay, because that is insane. Absolutely. I've had it with Arsenal fans, believe it or not. We've had the whole like Wenger in, Wenger out, Arteta out, Arteta
Civil
in,
war, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh man, people are attacking each other. It's supposed to be supporting the same club.
I think
man.
it's happening at like not on the same sort of level, but it's happening at Chelsea now. In the stadium, there's a massive divide between obviously people like that are for Bowley and people that are against, and it's slowly coming. But football's in a mad place right now. If people are getting attacked just because they want to wear their colours, I thought we'd left that all behind.
Yeah, likewise, man. Well said, bruv. Well said. Big up to you, Martin, as well. Listen, as we close the show, I want to do something that is England related. Are England 1-11 now the squad's been picked? What are we all going to agree that is the best with? Now, I think we all know Pickford's going to be in goal. I don't think there's any debate that Ramsdale or Henderson's going to get the shout. I want to know what everyone's back four is, because I think there's some definite interesting ones there. Do we go on form? Do we go on who we think's been good for Southgate? Where are we going here? I mean, for me, I love Trent. I think Trent is an unbelievable player. He doesn't seem to want to play him at right back and sees him more as a midfielder. So I imagine it's either Walker or Trippier that plays at right back. Left back, I guess it's Shaw if he's fit. I'd probably play Gomez because I think he's been better than Shaw this season. There's not really any other options unless you play Trippier over there. And then I think we said Stones and Guehi was probably going to be the back line. So what are we going with, boys? What are we going with?
I think that back line is what realistically might happen. We'll see it tonight and see if it works. It's obviously against Iceland, but we all know how England has struggled against Iceland in years gone by. So I'd be interested to see Trent playing right back. To be honest with you, I think there's potential for what Mo said as well, a back three, but I don't think Southgate's going to meddle too much. I think we're going to see Trippier left back, Guehi, Stones, Walker. I think would you guys agree that'll probably be most likely the back four?
Yeah, I think so. And I think then in midfield, I think it's this is what I would do personally, but some people disagree because they want Bellingham to be at the 10. I want Foden really in the
never
middle.
gonna
He
do
might
it,
not be able to.
This
Say
is why
again, man.
Foden's never gonna recreate his City form into England, because Southgate is never gonna give him the opportunity to go in that 10, and he's never gonna play 2 10s.
No.
That
I mean,
isn't Southgate.
Rice we know
See,
play.
I don't know.
Go on.
It's a mad one.
I mean, for me, the left wing position is the question mark. Does he go with Palmer on the left or Saka on the left or something like that? If he's going to play Foden, that's why I think Foden will play left with Southgate, and he'll have Bellingham, Rice, and Mainu, or he'll have Rice, Bellingham, and Palmer, and then Saka and Foden will be either side of Kane. I don't know what you guys think though, man. It's a madness, isn't it?
I don't think Foden works on the left. I think we need to avoid that. We need to avoid having Foden on the left. He's wasted there. He really is.
Who would you play there, Pete?
To be fair, how I would play it is Bellingham and Rice together with Foden in front. And then, I'd be having Saka on the right, Kane up front, and then it's a toss-up between who you put on the left at that point. Gordon's starting tonight. He's starting there. So that's a big endorsement that he's playing again. But then you've got Palmer. Although Palmer's been called up, he hasn't really started, but he's more on the right-hand side. So for me, I think Palmer's more of a backup to Saka than anything else. And then you've got Bowen who can play on the left and the right. So you've got options there. For me, I would be playing Rice and Bellingham as a 2 in there because Bellingham can play there and Bellingham will have the license to get forward. Rice can sweep. Foden can find those little pockets of what he does at Man City, which is exactly what Martin's saying. Let's play him to his strengths. If you're going to make big, bold decisions in not picking the likes of Rashford, who has always been his go-to, the likes of Grealish, that's always been his go-to in terms of picking him for the squad, maybe not playing him. If you're going to make big decisions like that, then make another big decision. Play your best players where they want to play. And Foden is an outstanding talent. If we're going to have a chance of winning this competition, you play Foden where he needs to play. For Kane, you know what you're going to get. Saka will perform because he normally does for England. Bellingham will play just as well next to Rice as he would if he was playing number 10. But I think you get a better Bellingham, more in the game, more effective, more combative, playing alongside Declan Rice. I think they'd be a really good pair.
Do you think this is the best? Oh, sorry, not the best. Because I do. Listen, I fully understand what everyone's saying about the Foden thing, and even I've said it. But where I will defend Southgate a little bit, and I don't defend Southgate because I hate the guy. I think the guy's not hate him because as a person, I don't like him as a manager. But do you think he's hit an area where we've got so much good midfield talent and winger talent, and he's just, how do you get it all into the systems? Because when you've got Saka, you've got Foden, you've got Gordon, you've even got Kobe Mainoo people want in, you've got Declan Rice, you've got, what do? You go with 2 6s, you go with 2 10s.
We've been here before, Martin. We're having this conversation in 2004, 2006 with the golden generation, 2002, Scholes, Lampard. We have this conversation, and what do they all say now? Even Alexis Wenger announcing, I should have played Scholes in his rightful position. I should have played Gerrard in his rightful position. I should have played Lampard in their rightful position. I'm sorry, play them in their rightful position. And if you are right into the team, put one of them on the bench and have them as an impact sub, but play them where they need to play.
Do you know what it is with me with Southgate? It's that he does like 95% of it correctly. So like even the last Euros, all the way to the final, we went 1-0 up in 2 minutes, and he put an handbrake on there, and he went, right, no, stop, and went ultra sort of Tony Pulis football. If anyone remembers watching Tony Pulis football. Do you know what? And it's like that Italy team was there for the taking. It was there open to be got at. And we went 1-0 up, and excuse my language here, Southgate shit himself and didn't know what to do.
Yep, facts.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me with him. To win a league, to win a competition, to win anything, you've got to have courage. You've got to have faith in your beliefs. Yeah. It's like we get, we know, England will probably get to the quarters, the semis, even a final. We know the script when we hit that level. We know what's going to happen. And that's what's the sad thing here. It's like, if England got to a final, I know which way I'm betting, and I'm not a betting man because I know what Southgate's going to do.
This is probably, in all fairness to him, though, this is probably the most attacking lineup and squad that he's taken so far. It's the first time he's taken 3 strikers, probably the fewest amount of DMs, to be honest, because what was it? Last time it was Rice, Hendo, and Phillips. Like, it's probably...
We'll know, Dan, when we go 1-0 up this time. We'll know.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go for it this Euro.
He has to.
Nothing to
He has
lose.
to.
I think he's going to go for it. Because this is the least chance you have because it's played in Germany. In
Spain,
any of the competition, this is the least chance you have to win the competition because it's played in Germany.
You think Germany will win it?
Oh, Germany!
No,
they've got some good.
It's in their ground. I don't know who's gonna win this Euros, but I think England has a good chance but I think it's gonna be France. To be honest,
Yeah,
I was going to say. So are France your favourites?
France, yeah, 100%. Oh, did you see the squad?
Yeah, no.
Did you look at the teams?
No, but when you look at when you look at the England squad, that has got a lot of quality in there. A lot of quality. I don't have faith in Southgate. I'm sorry.
I think that's the reason that we wouldn't be favourites, Martin.
Yeah.
With a different manager, like, I'm not being funny, but if you look at the managerial shortlist that's available, like potentially for just this tournament, you could have got rid of Southgate and just had a look at some of the people there that just like win trophies for fun. FA could have given England a way better chance at winning something this tournament.
Well, the FA have got this silly rule that you only want English managers, don't they? We now only want English managers because of the Capello fiasco. Because basically they want a yes man, don't they?
I think Southgate is perfect for what they want, but he's not
that's why
perfect for
Potter's
what he
lining up
wants.
for the replacement, mate. I'm telling you, that's why Potter's rejecting all these clubs. He wants that England job.
I think he could get it if Southgate goes.
But anyway, what's the
I was going to say,
boys?
I was going to say Eddie Howe. I was going to say Eddie Howe, but Peter destroyed that.
Don't start. Don't start. You can take the mick out of me for not getting Europe, but don't start with the Eddie Howe rubbish because it ain't happening.
I wasn't actually taking the mick then. Actually,
I would say front three. I'm gonna go with Saka, Palmer, Kane, and then I'm having Foden in the middle with Bellingham, Rice. Because Palmer can play left. I know people are saying he's not played there. Palmer can play anywhere, man. He's a quality player.
Play him in the rightful position. You're saying, oh, yeah, he can play left, but you've got someone like Anthony Gordon that played left, that knows how to play there. That's his position. He's played fantastically well there. Like, play Palmer as your impact sub. That, to be fair, that's what Southgate's doing. Palmer could have started other games. He hasn't. He's playing because he's playing on the right hand side because Saka's not available. Play your players in your right position. How many times since going back, as far as I can remember, 90s, 96, how many times have we made this same mistake every time? We're not playing players in the right position. We're just playing little fillers here and there. Go with your strongest team, but with players in their rightful position. That's what we need to do.
Don't play Saka, don't play Palmer, don't play Foden left wing. Stop forcing players into places. Play Foden in the middle. Pick one of Saka and Palmer, they choose, and play someone that plays left wing for the majority of the season there. That's why Jack Grealish maybe should have gone. Even though
do you know what we do?
What I mean?
Oh, do you know what we do?
Gordon is there. Play someone that plays left wing.
Eze might play. You never know.
Yeah,
forcing a player into a position that they don't play.
Mo, do you know what it is?
Doesn't go.
Do you know the problem, Bob? And the problem is we don't look at it as England and what's best for England. As fans, we all take our tribalism into internationals. So we get, how come my guy's not playing and my guy's and you're never going to agree on any of it. Yeah, and this is where the Saka Foden debate comes up, and they're not even the same positions. And I sit there going, "What are you comparing those two for? One's a 10, one's a right-hand sided. What are you doing?"
It's probably the worst debate in the history of everything. I cannot stand that. Like, who's better, Saka or Foden? What are we comparing two different positions for? Like, it's mad. And then you'll get Foden because he's won stuff. No, Saka because he's done it for England. He's got more goals and all. And I'm like,
Do you remember the Lewis Dunk argument? Do you remember Lewis Dunk from a couple of years back? Should be that England centre back, England centre back, England centre back. And again, it's just we've got it. England will never change unless some of us have got to take this. Just play what's best for England.
100%.
None of this. I don't care about. And this is why I don't. I'll watch the Euros, but I'm not going to jump all over it if we lose or win. I'm just not bothered.
I'm always club over country anyway, but
Yeah.
I must say I'd love to see us win it, but it's one of those. Listen, we've got to wrap up, guys, because we've been going for me, Mo, and Dan have been going since 3:30, and it's like 7 o'clock now. So we've got to wrap up, man. Big up to all of you, man. Big up, and I mean this. Big up to all of the panel, and big up to all of you tonight, because hitting 20k was a target I wanted to hit. So I really appreciate that.
I'm glad to be here when you hit 20k.
Yeah, I love that. I love being part of that. That's cool.
Cheers,
But by the way, can I just plug this? I'm only like 15 away from 4K if anyone wants to help.
Yeah, man. Let's get everybody up, man.
I understand them. I understand I'm hated, but come on.
Come on.
Some
man.
of them
You're not
mods-
hating.
can
Not
some
hated
of
with
the
us,
mods-
Martin. Not hated with us,
And
man.
some of them, can one of the mods please post the link maybe for Martin, if that's okay with pots?
Yeah.
Post the link.
Let me
Maybe
sort it.
we can
Let
get
me
into
do that
4K.
now, man. Actually, let's get that now sorted.
I'm sorry
because-
for the cheap plug.
No, it's not, man.
No,
That's
it's
absolutely
all
what it
love
is.
and help. We all help each other, bro.
That's what it is.
Hey,
man.
no,
We
the only
all
reason
help.
is I'm having on Tuesday, I'm having a Jack and Olise stream where I'm going to read the full 93-page cast document out. And I'm actually not kidding. I'm
I'll
reading it
tune in
out.
for that.
Yeah, that's good for that bad boy.
Listen,
I'm going to bring my lawyer with me and everything. It's going to be fun.
listen, there it is, man. I've just posted it. Let's go and make sure we get Martin up to 4K as well. Make sure you're doing the same for Loaded Mag NUFC as well. Go follow Pete. Pete's always on live, man. I see the other day had hundreds of people that were watching your transfer show, man. So big up. Get unbelievable guests you do, Pete, I must say. So big up to you, bro. Fantastic to see you growing. Mo, absolutely flying on to 30k already. Make sure you go over to Footy Judge Mo. Top man, always putting out content and great support from the channel. And BDB Dan, it's got to be done, my bro. Make sure you head over to support Dan as well, who's become a regular on there, not just my channel, but everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see Dan. So it's great stuff, man. So big up to you, my bro. And thank you all for being on. Big up to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We've now hit over 20. It's been amazing. So thank you all so much. Mancunian way, go do the same thing. And yeah, we're going to get out of here, people. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.